India today has nuclear weapons, a computer industry, and its very own Hollywood-style film industry. It has an extremely rich upper class and a huge middle class. But it also has 200 million poor outcasts or Dalits, stigmatized from the day they are born and who suffer massive discrimination. Veerasamy lives in a small village in southern India. All the inhabitants here are outcasts. Veerasamy's job consists of doing the washing for the 19 families in the village.
Ma. Yeah.
When I go and collect the laundry, I ask why we have to do this. We have to do it because we belong to this caste. People say we will be reborn, and that's the reason why we must do it.
And the outcasts themselves are subdivided into further groupings. The washermen and women belong to the very lowest scale of this hierarchy. The only payment Veerasamy receives for his work are leftovers from the meals other inhabitants in the village have already eaten.
Old people usually say that it causes you no harm to do this kind of job. They say that in the end you will go to heaven for having done this.
Do you believe that?
One would have to die to find out.
Veerasamy's family have been washermen for generations. Coming from the lowest caste in Indian society, it's their destiny. His wife Dasam and their 3 children help him do the work.
If we had our own land, we would be happy. We would not depend on others. But we don't have our own place, and we have to be very servile and obey orders. If we had our own land, we would work hard and do something else. For instance, we could open a fruit shop. But we are dependent on others, and that's the reason why we have to live this way. If you are rich, it's no problem.
Discrimination based on caste has been prohibited by law since India first gained its independence in 1947. But the 200 million outcasts in the country are still being oppressed, still discriminated against. Many have left their fingerprints on contracts which make them indebted for the rest of their lives to people from higher castes. Often, too, the outcasts, or Dalits, are caught up in working conditions that are more like slavery.
This is very dangerous work. You can hardly avoid being hurt, but we have to work. The stones cut me on both my arms and my legs. Look at the scars on my legs and here. But we tolerate it because we are fighting for our lives. We are fighting the Grim Reaper. It is a hard and dangerously deadly job.
Mr. Kumar and his family are bonded labourers. They owe money to the owner of the quarry.
During the rainy season, the stones are buried under the soil. And my manager says we must dig them out. We have to dig out the stones and cut them to pieces. If we don't, we receive no payment. I can't go anywhere else because we have been paid in advance. So he would claim his money back before we could go anywhere. If we only knew how to make more money, we could choose to do something else. We have to work like slaves to survive. We have to work like slaves to earn our daily bread.
Asan is 12. He's the son of outcast parents and has worked in the silk industry since he was 8. He's just one of approximately 100 million child laborers in India.
I work 10 hours a day from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. without lunch.
And including lunch?
That will make 10 hours.
And you work how many days a week?
All 7 days of the week.
You don't have a day off on Sundays?
No.
You don't have Sundays?
No, but we get the day off when there is a celebration of some kind, for instance, Deepavali or Amavasi. We have 10 days off for the harvest festival.
Do you like working in a weaving mill?
Yes, sure. Once you have learnt it, it's not difficult. They only go on at you in the beginning until you have learnt it. Then it's fun to work with the loom.
In the West, there's been a lot of publicity about child labour, and the owners of big textile factories are wary of giving interviews to human rights organisations or Western media. But the owners of small weaving mills are not so defensive. Do the children come from poor families?
Yes, indeed, all of them. Rich people don't work in this industry.
Are the children Dalits?
Yes.
It's hard work, isn't it?
Yes, you have to be alert all the time. It's not like driving an ox cart or working in the rice fields.
I don't care about my next life. If I can't be happy together with my children in this life, how can I then dream about the next life? I can't send them to school, or give them a happy life, or give them enough food. Why am I in this unhappy situation? When I was a child, I wasn't happy, but now I see that my children aren't any better off. Is this their lot to life?
The Indian caste system stems from Hinduism, and about 80% of all Indians are Hindus. If you're an outcast, a Dalit, it's because you've led a bad life in an earlier incarnation. This is your fate, and you have to put up with it. According to Hinduism, man has more than one life, and if a person behaves well in his present life, he can be reincarnated into a better one. Prabhakaran is a Brahmin priest and belongs to the highest caste.
Each caste has its particular kind of work. Take me. I'm a priest. I couldn't carry out the work of a carpenter or a bricklayer. Every person has his own trade.